Hey gorgeous. So today I wanted to come with you with another one of these short videos to talk about how if we would have been given certain knowledge as women, so much of our lives would be so different. Recently, I've been reading a lot more books around the divine feminine, different goddesses, and specifically Mary Magdalene. Now, I love history. If you know me, then you know my Netflix queue is like mainly historical documentaries. And ever since I started to heal my relationship to my feminine energy, I also started to learn a lot about the divine feminine, different cultures and how they revered the feminine, different goddesses, priestesses, sacred sexuality work. And it was such a healing experience for me. I was raised Catholic. I went through Catholic school for 10 years. So I had and still have a lot of really heavy religious conditioning. And for a woman in our society at this point, right, it brings up a lot of inner conflict because the patriarchy, so the culture and society that reveres men and the masculine and sees women and the feminine as worth less than men and the masculine, the patriarchy, which heavily was influenced Western religions, especially Christianity, really creates this narrative for women that being good, being moral, means you have to be docile, weak, meek, controllable, appeasing. You have to be disconnected from your body, disconnected from your desires, your sensuality, and especially your sexual power. And so there's a very small box that the patriarchy and religious conditioning tries to fit a woman into, and it truly is this like good little girl box, because the patriarchy thrives on women not being fully in their power, not fully maturing emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, intimately, sexually, right, with their own selves and with partners. And so I think the majority of us as women, and especially so many of the women in my world and in my space, have this story of trying so hard to be a good girl. And yet, here you are, a woman who knows you're meant to have a big impact in the world. You want to create wealth and abundance because you want to be your fullest expression. You want to do good things in the world. And you want to have deep, passionate intimacy in your life. But trying to be a good girl and having all of those things actually don't go together. And so one of the reasons why I created Codes of the Goddess is because we have not been taught ancient feminine wisdom. We have not been taught about goddesses and the divine feminine. We have not been taught about the empowered feminine and how to access that within us. And because it was so healing for me, and because again, I think if we had access to this information as women, it would dramatically increase confidence, worthiness, deserving, a woman's ability to create and uphold boundaries in her life. I highly believe that it would decrease a lot of anxiety, depression, loneliness, unfulfillment in a woman's life, because we've been taught to receive our safety, our security, our worthiness from everything outside of us. So when we're constantly hunting outside of us for safety, for worthiness, for confidence, for validation, we can't be grounded in our power and confident in our own truth. And that's how the patriarchy just continues to go on and on and on. Because the more women, the more female leaders who truly are in their embodied feminine leadership, who truly have this depth of connection to self, this understanding that the feminine isn't less than, quite frankly, it's more magical than the masculine. It allows you to have the impact, the income, and the intimacy that you truly, truly desire. So if you want to learn more about the divine feminine, more about how to merge the divine feminine and the embodied feminine, be in a community, a small community, and a really sacred container where you're being led and mentored through from me, where you're connecting with other women, where you're allowing this ancient feminine wisdom to be awakened inside of you, because you have a unique transmission that you're meant to bring into the world. And this is how you tap into it. And that's how you actually end up quantum leaping and collapsing timelines and manifesting in your visibility, in the amount of people in your programs or the clients or whatever it is. So if you want that, I invite you to join me in the Other Women in Codes of the Goddess. So you actually only have a little bit more than a day left to sign up. There is a bonus if you pay in full. You get 4 additional private coaching calls with me. Now, considering the fact that to work with me privately, it is a 5-figure investment, this is such an incredible bonus. But I know so many women are really aching to not just learn more, but to be held and witnessed personally and privately in this. So I invite you to join me and the other women. Doors close Sunday, July 4th at midnight. And if all of this sounds great and you're not ready for a 3-month container, then you can go to either the link in the comments or in the description or in my bio, depending on where you're watching this, and sign up for the Embodying Your Divine Feminine 1-day event, July 22nd. There's some additional bonuses if you sign up before Sunday at midnight. I hope you'll join me, because I know the more women that understand, have access to this information, learn about goddesses, the divine feminine, ancient feminine wisdom, allow your feminine power to be awakened, allow yourself to mature into your feminine power in ways that we don't really see in the world. The more women that do that, the better off the world will be. So I invite you to join me in one or both of those. If you have any questions, let me know.